Good morning. Judges 7. Defeat of Midian. Early the next morning, in Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, encamped by the spring of Herod with all his soldiers. The camp of Midian was north of him, besides the hill of Morah in valley. The Lord said to Gideon, "You have too many soldiers with you for me to deliver Midian into their power, lest Israel vaunt itself against me and say, 'My own power saved me.' So announce the hearing of the soldiers. If anyone is afraid or fearful, let him leave. Let him depart from Mount Gilead. 22,000 of soldiers left, but 10,000 remained. The Lord said to Gideon, 'There are still too many soldiers. Lead them down to the water, and I will test them for you there. If I tell you that certain man is to go with you, he must go with you, but no one is to go if I tell you he must not.' When Gideon led the soldiers down to the water, the Lord said to him, 'Everyone who laps the water as a dog does with its tongue, you shall set aside by himself. And everyone who kneels down to drink, raising his hand to his mouth, you shall set aside by himself.' Those who lapped up the water with tongues numbered 300, but all the rest of the soldiers knelt down to drink water. The Lord said to Gideon, 'By means of 300 who lapped by water, I will save you and deliver Midian to your power. So let all the other soldiers go home.' They took up such supplies as the soldiers had with them, as well as their horns, and Gideon sent the rest of the Israelites to their tents, but kept the 300 men. Now the camp of Midian was below him in the valley. That night the Lord said to Gideon, 'Go, descend into the camp, for I have delivered it into your power. If you are afraid to attack, go down to the camp with your aide, Purah, and listen to what they are saying. After that you will have the courage to descend on the camp.' So he went down with this aide Purah and to the outposts of the armed men in the camp. The Midianites, Amalekites, and all the Chemadites were laying in the valley, thick as locusts. Their camels could not be counted, for they were as many as the sands of the seashore. When Gideon arrived, the man was telling others about a dream. 'I had a dream that a round loaf of barley bread was rolled into the camp of Midian. It came to a certain tent and struck it and turned it upside down, and the tent collapsed.' 'This can only be the sword,' another replied. This can only be a sword of the Israelite Gideon, son of Judah. Another replied, 'God has delivered Midian and the camp into his power.' When Gideon heard the account of the dream, and as explained, he bowed down, then returned to the camp of Israel. He said, 'Arise to the Lord has delivered the camp of Midian into your power.' He divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and provided them all with horns, with empty jars, and torches inside jars. 'Watch me and follow my lead,' he told them. 'I shall go to the edge of the camp, as I do, you must do also. When I and those with me blow horns, you too must blow horns all around the camp and cry out for the Lord and for Gideon.' So Gideon and the 100 men who were with him came to the edge of the camp at the beginning of the middle watch. Just after posting of the guards, they blew horns and broke the jars they were holding. When the 3 companies had blown their horns and broke their jars, they took the torches in their hands and their right the horns they had been blowing, and cried out, 'A sword for the Lord and for Gideon.' They all remained standing in a place around the camp, while the whole camp began to run and shout and flee. When they blew the 300 horns, the Lord set the sword of one against another throughout the camp, and they fled as far as Bethsita in the direction of Zerdah, near the border of Abel-Meholah at Tabbath. The Israelites were called to arms from Naphtali, from Asher, and from all Manasseh, and they pursued Midian. Gideon also sent messengers throughout the mountain region of Ephraim to say, Go down to intercept Midian and seize the water courses against them as far as Beth-bara, as well as Jordan. So all the Ephraimites were called to arms, and they seized the water courses as far as Beth-bara, and the Jordan as well. They captured 2 princes of Midian, Oreb and Zeb, killing Oreb at the rock of Oreb and Zeb at the winepress of Zeb. Then they pursued Midian, but they had the heads of Oreb Zeb brought to Gideon beyond the Jordan.